All right, so we're going to connect some different components together. I just want to make sure that we all have the same routine or the same protocol to follow. The first thing I want you to notice is that we don't have any power plugged in. So I'm going to ask that when you connect your different lights and motors and sensors and the microbit to the Hummingbird, for example, that you do this all without being plugged into power. So the first thing you'll notice on the microbit is that there are, on the back side, you can see the word microbit, and on the front side, you've got the buttons and the LED array, the lights. And so what I want you to do is have that facing upward uh, toward you when you connect to the Hummingbird, and you're going to connect to the edge connector right here. You're going to push it in. It takes a little bit of effort. It's not that hard. What I do want to make note of, though, is that you should sort of just see these holes, these gold-rimmed holes, coming out of the Hummingbird. I've had issues before where people were connected kind of like that, where they were sticking out a little bit too far. And what happened was that this couldn't get power, and so we ended up not being able to connect to the computer. So do make sure if you're having problems connecting, you might just double check that you've actually put the microbit in securely. All right. When we get to the servo ports, the motors, I want to make note of a couple things. So there are 4 servo motor ports, and they're labeled by number. So this is port 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then above them, it shows you the sequence of colors. So S stands for signal. And signal in the terms of the Hummingbird, the signal wire is always going to be yellow. All right. The positive and the negative, the positive brings power to the device, and the negative is ground. It just basically completes the circuit. And so you're going to have the yellow for signal, red, and black, positive, negative. And that's how you'll know which direction this should go in. See, because it could actually go in this way. It could also go in this way, but it won't work if it goes in that way. So you want to make sure that the yellow lines up with S. Okay, and it just fits in like that. It snaps in, and you've got one servo motor attached to your board. Okay, and this is what's going to give us motion. The next ones are all similar. So the RGB cable, the single LED cable, and the sensors all have these open wires. And so we'll take a look at this one here in particular. So you've got on a single color LED, you're going to have the single color itself, and then negative or ground, the black wire. All right. And so I know this one's a green LED because conveniently we have the outer sheath there is green. And so if yours looks orange, it's going to be an orange LED. It could be red for red LED and yellow for the yellow LED. All right. And those are going to go into our LED ports. Each port is going to have a place for a negative and a positive right there. So the positive is going to be the color that the LED is going to be, and the negative will be black. The minus is black. And so you're going to use this punch down tool because what happens is in order for the wires to fit into these holes here, there's actually, you can't see them in this video, but there are actually tiny little doors. And those doors are opened up by pushing these buttons down. And these buttons are pushed down most easily using this little punch down tool. So I can take the punch down tool and I can push it down. And what that does is going to open up a door. So I'm going to put the green LED wire in first. And when it's in there, I'm going to release, which closes the door. And if I tug, I can realize that it's pretty snug and it's not going to move. And then I can move on to the black wire. So I'll do the same thing. I will push down the door. Which is opening it, push down the button, I mean, sorry. And then I can then push the black wire in, tug on them, and they're both securely in. So this is how I know. And if you might try to see if you can make it so that the colors are all the way to the end of the hole there, so you know that it's inside. Okay. And that same process works for the RGB LEDs. Now, RGB is red, green, blue. So those are those wires there. And of course, the minus sign for the black or ground. And then finally, on the sensors, depending on which sensor you have, well, actually, all the sensors are going to have the same wires. So the sensors themselves might look different, but the actual wiring is the same. So S, just like with our servo motor, S is signal, which is going to be yellow, red is positive, and black is negative. Okay. And again, one last point, all of this is being done before you put power into the Hummingbird. Okay, and that's it.